Pericoronitis. This question can be asked in surgery and periodontics also. Okay, like short answer question. So, the pericoronitis is the inflammation, acute inflammation and swelling of the gingival tissue covering the crown of the partially erupted teeth. You can see in this diagram. Okay, this is second molar, third molar, and this is the operculum. This partially covering gingival tissue is called as operculum. Okay, so swelling and inflammation, infection of this partially covering gingival tissue of a partially erupted crown of the tooth. Okay, this is pericoronitis. Then etiology. Etiology is due to the food impaction. Okay, because this teeth is partially erupted, food get impacted below this gingival tissue. Okay, below this gingival tissue, and our brushing techniques will not reach below this tissue. So obviously, due to the food lodgement, this tissue will get infected. Okay, and this infection will recur at a duration of 3 to 4 months. Okay, so it will recur again and again. And one more important etiology thing is cheek biting or pressure on this operculum from the opposite third molar, from the maxillary third molar. So these are the two possible etiological factors for pericoronitis. One thing is food lodgement, and second thing is cheek biting or pressure from the opposite impacted or erupted, supra-erupted teeth. Okay, so under these conditions, Streptococcus viridans microorganism is the most commonly involved microorganism in this pericoronitis cases. Okay, especially this pericoronitis usually occurs in mesoangular impactions or vertical impactions, commonly seen in vertical and mesoangular impactions. Okay, then coming to the clinical features. What clinical features will you have? Under clinical features, there will be obvious pain. There is intense pain which is radiating to the ear and temple area, which is radiating to the throat. So, due to this food lodgement, there will be halitosis. Okay, and there will be swelling, external swelling in this angle region. External swelling in angle region. Okay, so these are some clinical features of pericoronitis. Then coming to the complications, that means if the pericoronitis is left untreated, this pericoronitis, the infection from this operculum may extend to the facial spaces. That is it may extend sublingual and submandibular spaces, that will obviously lead to Ludwig's angina, or it may extend to the oropharyngeal spaces also, and it may produce peritonsillar abscess or pericoronal abscess. That means the pus production is get localized around the crown of the tooth. Okay, so it may produce pericoronal abscess or peritonsillar abscess. Okay, so these are the complications. Then coming to the management of pericoronitis. So under management, we have 3 options. The first one is to wait and watch, and the second option is to operculectomy, that means removal of this operculum, and third option is extraction. Okay, extraction of or removal of this impacted tooth. Okay, so when the patient comes with pericoronitis, you must take the history. That means easy first attack or recurrent attack. Okay, then look for the any dental caries or periodontal diseases in the oral cavity, in relation to this impacted tooth and take a IOPA. Take a IOPA. On IOPA, you must recognize or you must assess the type of the impaction. That is the angulation, axial inclination of the erupting teeth. Okay, and the age of the patient is also important. So we'll see. So coming to the management, the first option we have is wait and watch. Wait and watch. So this option is suitable for patients with first time of pericornitis attack. Okay, when they get first attack of pericornitis. Okay, if the patient is below 25 years of age. Okay, so third molars usually erupt in the age of 17 to 25 years. That means eruption potential is there until the 25 years of age. Okay, so when taking IOPA, if the erupting tooth is in the straight path, that is vertical impaction, in the cases of vertical impactions and the patient age is below 25 years, okay, and when the space is there for eruption, that means Pell and Gregory's classification of class 1, when there is sufficient space is there from the distal aspect of second molar to anterior border of ramus. In those cases, you can go for wait and watch policy. That means you don't have to do operculectomy or removal of the tooth. You gently irrigate that operculum with saline or betadine solution and prescribe the antibiotics and analgesics for 5 days. Okay, with this intervention, mostly first attack of pericornitis will subside. Okay, then second option we have is operculectomy. Operculectomy, that means removal of that gingival cuff on the crown of the partially erupted teeth. This option is feasible when the operculum is there. Okay, when the operculum is obviously covering the crown of the partially erupted tooth, and the second thing is when the tooth is in the correct axial inclination. That means mostly vertical impaction. Okay, it should not be get locked against the second molar. Okay, and when there is space available for eruption of the teeth. Okay, in those cases, you simply excise that soft tissue. That is called as operculectomy. Okay, with this intervention, mostly the attack will subside. Okay, for wait and watch policy and operculectomy, almost criteria are same. Tooth must be straight, that is vertical impaction, and there must be space for eruption. Okay, and there must be patient age of less than 25 years, that is there must be eruption potential still remaining. Okay, so in those cases we may go for wait and watch and operculectomy. This operculectomy, that is excision of gingival tissue, can be done with blade, that is scalpel and blade, or it can be done with electrocautery, or it can be done with lasers. Whichever procedure you can use. Okay, generally it is done with blade, scalpel and blade. And the third option is extraction. And the third option is extraction. That means when the patient is too old, or if there is any dental caries in relation to the impacted tooth, or if it is locked against the crown of the second molar, okay, or is there any periodontal disease or root resorption, whatever indication we mentioned, okay, whatever indication we mentioned, in those cases we go for extraction. surgical removal of the impacted tooth. And there is no space. When there is no space for eruption, in all those cases, or it may be cystic tumors, in all indications we must go for extraction. But extraction is the permanent cure, permanent treatment for pericornitis. Okay, generally first attack of pericornitis is not the indication for extraction. The recurrent attacks, that is 2 or more attacks of pericornitis, generally considered as indication for extraction. So this is all about pericornitis. When you are writing the answer, you must discuss definition, etiology, clinical features, complications and management. Management includes these 3 options. Under these option, you must write the criteria, what I told. Okay, so if you like the video, please subscribe the channel, and if you have any doubt, mention in comment box.